All right, episode number 1. Let's get stuck into this. Welcome to Questions with Kirby. With me, Kirby, obviously. A lot of people ask me, Kirby, is Kirby your real name? And the answer is no, it's not. So if you don't know who I am, my full name is Anthony Kirby. Great to have you in my world. Everyone calls me Kirby. You can call me Kirby. The only person who doesn't call me Kirby is my mother and my wife's grandmother, just for reference, just in case you wonder. So a lot of the time, especially very recently, I've been getting this question around how I built my business. So in case you don't know anything about me, let me give you a bit of a background. I started off after working with corporates and in my professional life for 12 years. I decided when my son was born that I wanted to start my own business, which somewhat foolishly, I didn't understand anything about the world of business, or at least I didn't realized that I didn't know anything about business, and I'm sure that's probably the same for you too. Now, what happened was I have very successfully built a thriving and still continues to thrive consulting training business here in Australia, and we've worked with thousands of people now across Australia, New Zealand, the USA, helping them to get more out of their business and helping their teams to produce more results. And what has happened as a result of that, unexpectedly I might add, is that a lot of you guys have sent me messages saying, Kirby, we want to go and talk on stage in Hawaii. Or Kirby, we want to go and work with Microsoft. Or Kirby, we want to go and do this thing. We want to get more clients. We want to become a coach. We want to become a trainer. We want to write a best-selling book. How have you done it? And I started getting all of these questions. And what happened was I ended up jumping on lots of individual calls because I'm all about adding value. And I thought instead of jumping on those calls where only one person gets the benefit of that answer, that I would give you guys all of the answers to all of the questions that I'm getting via this show, so that if you're in the position where you're starting or continuing to grow your business out there serving others, or getting your message out there, or educating people and training people, inspiring people, whatever it might look like for you, that these answers will hopefully help you and give you some clarity around what might be needed for you to move the needle of your business forward, so that you can attract more of the people that you want to work with, sell more of them more easily. Because at the end of the day, if you can't sell to those people, you're going to get on this merry-go-round of real self-doubt and lacking confidence because you're not getting the results that you're working so hard for, which ultimately means you're not going to be able to sustain what you're doing. And you might have to go back to that job that you didn't want to go to in the first place. So without any further ado, let's get stuck into the show. And this week I wanted to just cover off on one of the real common questions that I get just to get us into the show, which is, Kirby, how did you get started? And rather than take it to the kind of standard, how would I get started, I thought I'd dig a bit deeper and give you more tangible stuff to work with. And I'm going to tell you a few of the things that I wish that I'd known then, that I now know, that would really have moved me forward a lot faster. So I hope this is helpful for you. The first thing is something that I really struggled with for a while was who I want to work with. And it took me probably, 8 or 9 months of kind of sitting there, what do I do now? Not really understanding who it was that I was trying to speak to in the marketplace, not really understanding what it is that they wanted from me, which cost me a lot of time and money. So if you want to get out to the marketplace with your message, or if you find that right now you're kind of getting some results but it's not going perhaps the way you expected, give this bit a crack first. Just check this out and just think about this. Are you really clear on who you serve? And not only that, are you clear on the problem that you solve for them? Because the biggest learning that I had was people don't pay you for what you know, they pay you for the problem that you solve in their eyes. So you've got to understand what that problem is for them. And if you can understand that, then it's game on. And I wish I'd just known that faster. I wish I'd gotten onto that much sooner. It would have made a big difference to my business, and I hope that that perhaps will make the difference for you in your business. So understanding who your target market is. The second thing is, when I kind of honed in on that niche that I was working with at the time, the thing that really moved the needle for me was getting outbound. And what I mean by that is, we've kind of been sold this concept or this magical myth that if you go and put a Facebook post up or a Facebook advert, that suddenly the traffic will knock down your door, or if you go and put a LinkedIn post up, that suddenly the traffic's going to knock down your door, and it's not right. Not in the early days, at least, because if you're at sort of your first $100,000 in this business, or you're somewhere between $100,000 and $200,000 in your coaching or consulting business, or selling your services, selling yourself, ultimately, people aren't going to be knocking down the door yet. So you got to get out there. And one of the ways that I did that was to find the type of businesses that I wanted to work with and go to them with free value. And my approach was, as a sales trainer, was to say to them, hey, let me come and talk to your sales team for free. That was my approach. And so I sent out a ton of emails, and I called up, and follow-up is where the money's made. And I just said, look, give me a shot. Like, what have you got to lose? It's on my dime, it's on my time. I'm going to come to your business for an hour or half a day, even in some cases, and train your sales team. You get them in a room and I'll train them for you. And I did that. And here's what happened because of that, was they got results. And this is this whole concept. Frank Kern talks about this, results in advance. If you can give people results in advance, they're going to really see more value in you, because you're not going to them with like your hat out saying, give me money. You're going to them saying, let me demonstrate what I can do first. And so my question to you is, if your business isn't going the way you wanted, what can you do right now to demonstrate the value in advance for that client so that they can see that you can solve the problem for them? This was a big shift for me. When that happened, I got booked to speak at a few conferences. When I spoke at the conferences and gave them tangible stuff when I was talking, I wasn't just talking about high level stuff. I was saying, hey, go and do this one thing. Go and do this one thing and then see what happens. As a result, when they did that one thing, the people who took action, they said, this stuff actually works. This guy knows what he's talking about. And from there, literally my calendar filled up within probably 2 months. We had a full roster of clients at the time. It was insane. And so that was really purely only possible because I led with value first. And it's a big proponent of what I teach, and what I now give to all of my clients is say, look, what is the problem you're solving? Go solve it in advance. In some way, give them some progress, give them some hope that you're the person to help them through this journey. So give that a go. If you're clear on who your target market is, get out in front of them and give the value, because it's a very competitive market. If you're going to go and advertise, you better be hoping you're bloody good at advertising, because you can go and waste a hell of a lot of money on Facebook ads, and you can waste a hell of a lot of time producing content with no result, which is very disheartening. And I've been there and I've done it. So don't make that mistake. Don't waste 6 to 9 months like I did. Get in front of the people, offer the value in whatever format that looks like for you and your business, okay? Next one of the biggest learnings, which is really interesting. I thought I would have picked this up faster. If you look at any book on your bookshelf, chances are, if it's a book that's worth reading, it has a framework in it. And what I mean by a framework is a set of steps or a system or a blueprint or a method that you can follow to get a result. Classic example of this is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey. I never know how to pronounce that one. Anyway, go look it up. You'll work it out. One of the biggest things, as I started to develop my craft and as I started to get into more rooms and train more teams, was that I realized I was following the same structures. And so what I then did was turn them into frameworks. When I turned them into frameworks, they became easier for people to remember, which then became easier for them to take action on and get the result, which then perpetuated the results they were getting, therefore made me more valuable, therefore more repeat business. So if you've got something that you teach, but it's kind of like a consistent thing, so let's say you teach a way for someone to get a result in their personal life, for example. You might do that same thing time and time again. And sure, they might only hear it once from you, but you might be doing the same thing with Bob and Jane and John and Mary and Albert. Anyway. And so what I'd say is get that framework written down out of your head into a framework and call it something. Give it a name. So we've got the growth quadrant, we've got the 4-hour meeting agenda, we've got the 4-gate selling system, we've got all of these frameworks that I've developed over the last few years. And they're all things that I teach consistently to clients around the world now. And they're easy for people to remember. So when people talk to me about their business plan, they talk to me about, I have filled in my growth quadrant. It's a thing, right? You want to make it a thing for these people so that it's tangible for them to take away. I should have done that much faster. I didn't. I'm giving you the advice now so you don't have to wait. Okay? Next one, biggie, So many times on social media, and I've been very guilty of this myself, you post stuff that you think is relevant, but it's not adding value to your market. One of the first kind of myths that I was taught by one of my mentors was, look, you need to be posting multiple times per day. The reality is you need to be posting multiple times per day with value. And that was the bit that was missed in my training. I didn't get told, post with value. I just got told, post, be there, be prolific on social media. Nowadays, the algorithms have all changed, as you're probably well aware. And the problem with that is that if your content's not good, if it's not getting the engagement, if you're not getting the clicks, the likes, the shares, the follows, the comments, they're not going to show it to them next time you post. So make sure that whatever you post is solving problems, even if it's a small thing. The other thing is share your story, share your journey. Some of the best posts that I share are posts of me getting on a plane or posts of me doing something. In fact, you've probably seen some of those. If you're not following me on social media, go follow me at the Anthony Kirby. So you can keep up and see what I'm talking about. But you should be posting valuable content, literally just like this video. This is valuable content. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you're saying, geez, this is good because I'm not thinking about that thing, or I need to be doing more of that. So make sure that your content adds value. Make sure it solves the problem that you know your market has, so that when they come, after you've done a bit of outreach, if they come to you on social media to check you out first, they go, yeah, this person's legit. They know what they're talking about. They're the real deal. You got to make sure that you're walking the talk. Walking the talk. So whatever you're telling them, it's early, give me a break. Whatever you're telling them, you're making up for on your social media presence and the value that you're providing them up front without asking for any money, all right? Now, this might not be for you, but I'm going to encourage you to have a look at it anyway. I'm going to challenge you to think about this concept, because every client that I've worked with, I've talked to them about writing a book. And I'm talking about companies that you would never expect, or business owners that you would never expect would be able to write a book. We found a way for them to educate their market through writing a book. And pretty much all of them have gone on to sell on Amazon as bestsellers, which is a whole nother conversation for another video. So if you have a book in you, if you have something that you're teaching, start writing it out. You know how I talked about those frameworks? Even if you put those frameworks into a few chapters, and you release the book that was 50 or 60 pages long, it's not necessarily that you're going to be on the New York Times bestseller list. What's going on with my words today? New York Times bestseller list, but it's the credibility that you get from releasing a book. The good thing is you can post it to people. If you know your target audience, and let's just say it's businesses, for example, and you know that you want to target the top 50 businesses in your country, you can get your book and write a handwritten letter and put it in an envelope and send it to a manager in that company, or the HR manager, or whoever's responsible for hiring the training. All right? That's the power of it. It's not about the ego. So switch off that ego side of, I'm not going to sell enough, I'm not going to be able to put it on the bestseller list. Don't worry about that. If that happens, awesome. Bonuses, cream on the top. The point of it is, get your thoughts on paper, release it, even if it's an ebook, send it to everyone, give it away, get it in front of people. We have now given away, at the time of recording this is, what are we in, October 2018. We have given away over 1,000 copies of my book, and I haven't even pushed it that hard. I've literally sent it to a few clients, taken it to some events that I've spoken at. We've had it on Facebook a couple of times just as a post that people can just comment and get a copy, and over 1,000 of them over 1,000 of them have gone out of the door already. And that's 1,000 people reading my content, which is pretty awesome. If you haven't got one, by the way, hit me up, anthony@anthonykirby.com. I will send you a copy, which covers most of the stuff I'm teaching on these videos. All right? So write a book. As a bonus, the final thing I want to talk to you about, and the biggest thing that I neglected, is the concept of looking after you. And I don't say this lightly, because let me give you some examples. I remember one specific occasion where I got up early in the morning, got on the first flight out of Brisbane. I live in Brisbane, Australia. I got on the first flight out of Brisbane, flew down to the other end of the country, which was a 2.5-hour flight, drove from there to somebody's office, which was an 1.5-hour drive, So, I mean, it was kind of like nearly lunchtime when I arrived. I delivered a half-day workshop, got back in the car, drove back to the airport, literally did the whole thing in reverse. I got home at like midnight. So it was, let's call it a 20-hour day, all up. And I'm not complaining about that aspect of it. And so I just want to hear me out on this. Stick with me on it. That night, I experienced what I can only describe as a mini breakdown. Because I hadn't hydrated well enough. I hadn't nourished well enough. I hadn't respected sleep. I hadn't respected time with my family. I hadn't respected some time to just reflect on the day. I was just go, 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 go. And now that wasn't just the moment. I'm very aware that there was a big lead up to that. There was lots of little things where I was compromising my integrity through sleep, through exercise, through nutrition. But at the end of the day, if you are selling you, just as I am, you need to look after you first. Because if you're not good, and your clients can't get the benefit. Let me give you another example of this. Very, very recently, 28 days ago, in fact, very recent. I had an event. I spoke all day at an event. That night, the clients took me for dinner. I had dinner. I had a couple of beverages because their team was there and they were all buying me drinks. So, I had probably not heaps. I didn't get sort of wasted or anything, but I had more beers than I would traditionally have. The next day, I had an early flight back home. So when I was going to the airport, I felt a bit seedy, a bit dusty. Depending on where you are in the world, that might make no sense. I didn't feel a real crash hot. And I said to my wife, Ramiga, I said to her, look, if I had to back this up again today, if I had to go and speak for another day or do another workshop or do another keynote today, I can't honestly say that I would have backed it up at 100%. And that was a bit of an awakening for me because I don't know about you, but my vision is massive for where I want to go and the people that I want to impact. I mean, I'd like to help 1 million businesses to do more with their life and in their business, of course. And so to do that, I've got to be on my A game. And I can't do that if I'm not looking after me. So I can have the best frameworks, I can have a best-selling book, and I can have hundreds of thousands of people following me, but that means nothing if I haven't got my health, because then my kids don't get the best of me. Then my wife doesn't get the best of me. I don't get the best of me. My clients don't get the best of me. So you have to take responsibility, and I'm challenging you right now with this, to drink more water, to eat better food. I'm not saying you have to go full-scale vegan, dust, gluten-free. I'm saying look after yourself a bit more. Choose to eat something a bit healthier for lunch. Choose to move in the morning. Choose to sleep half an hour longer if you can. Choose to say no to that alcoholic beverage when you're out at a meeting with a client or you're out after an event. Choose to say no to that. So that has been a big thing for me. I'm actually 27 or 28 days now not drinking alcohol because of that moment. Because it just woke me up to the fact that, wow, I want to serve you. I want to serve you every time I step in front of this camera. I've got to look after myself. If I haven't got the energy to give you this education, if I haven't got the energy to deliver this value, it's totally pointless. So they're the 6 things that I would say would be key. If I was starting again, they're the things I would focus on. I hope this has been helpful for you. If it has, make sure you subscribe and make sure you share this with anyone who you feel might want it. And if you want more information like this, head on over to my website, anthonykirby.com. I'm looking down because my slides are down here, and I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't actually see what's on the screen in front of me, which is this screen here. So anyway, you don't need to know that, but just in case you're wondering, yes, I wear glasses. There you go. Random facts with Kirby. I told you it was questions with Kirby, but this is more like answer with Kirby. Anyway, I digress. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. I'll see you next time.